Hi. Every so often you come across a feature of some software and you wonder, is this a solution looking for a problem? Several years ago, I learned about the four XML and four JSON keywords that you can add to an end of a select statement. And up until recently, I've never really known if there was a use for it. Well, a few weeks ago, I was working with a client, and this client, she wanted to get the data that we built in SQL onto a web page, and the thing is, we needed it now, like straight away. So I didn't have time to work through the correct MVC model of putting it to the controller to a model and then passing that. It was a matter of just getting the JSON and putting it on the web page. So I'm not saying it's the best way to do it or the worst way. It's just one way to do it, and the advantage is that it's quick. Okay, so it could be quick and nasty, whatever you want to call it, but it is quick and it is easy to do. So I'm going to run through how to do it in this demonstration, and all the source code and the scripts are in the links below. So if you want to have a look at it, run it yourself, be my guest. So let's switch across. We'll start with SQL Server, and let's have a look. All right, so here we are now in SSMS. Let's start off by creating a very small system. It's going to have two tables, and it's going to be based on my love of James Bond. Okay, so I used AI to help me with this, just to generate the data. But you'll see here, once I put the script in here, it's very simple. We've got a table called movies, table called villains. Say AI gave me all the data for the 25 official films and the two main villains or henchmen for those 25 films. Okay, so just going to run that. Okay, and clear it. Now, to get the data, we've got a very simple stored procedure called villains get. Okay, so just run that, come here, okay, execute that stored procedure, and you can see there each of the films and the two villains or henchmen. Now, that's useful for most cases, but for the sake of this demo, let's just go and add in those other keywords we were speaking about before. So I'm going to come back in here for now. I'm going to type after the select statement for XML auto. Okay. Now where you can see it says auto, there's other words you could put in there to format the XML differently, but for the sake of this demo, it's going to leave it as for auto. Now, when I run that again, you can see here now I've got the one column, and inside this one column is XML data. So when you click that, you can see here it opens up the data in XML. So you can copy paste that into Notepad++ or whatever your preferred text editor is, or you can use this data in another application. But for this one, we're not going to use XML, we're going to use JSON. So instead of for XML auto, I'm going to put for JSON auto. And again, now when I just run that, we get here our JSON data. Now, it's a little bit harder to read, it's all in one line, but you can see there that it is JSON data, okay, here like such. So it's going to close that. And again, after instead of auto, there's other ways to format that. So what we're going to do, just going to leave it like this, okay, and leave our stored procedure there. And then we're going to go over into the C# and show you how to use it there. All right, so here we are inside Microsoft Visual Studio, and this is the world's simplest MVC app. Okay, it's literally the default when you go project, new MVC application inside Visual Studio. And I've just modified a couple of the files. So to begin with, we're going to start here in index.html, okay, the home index. And you can see that all I've done is add a div called create table and some simple JavaScript, a function called villains get, which we'll go to the controller in a sec, but essentially calls the controller, but also builds a simple HTML table with the data that we get from the JSON. Okay, so we'll come in here to the controller. Okay, it's very simple. Here's our endpoint, villains get, and I've got a breakpoint there. So we'll come here, I will refresh the page so the breakpoint gets hit, and we'll step through the code together. So we're coming in here, Microsoft. Okay, run through this. Now for this amount of data, we get 2 rows back. Obviously depends how much data you're pulling back, whether it's 1 row or 1,000 rows. It doesn't really matter, but because it's a simple demo, it's only 2 rows. So all we're going to do here is concatenate these 2 rows into one string of JSON. If I come here, clear out the output down the bottom. Oops, sorry, I cleared it out after I debugged it. Okay, there's our JSON down here. Okay, and I'm going to run that. And you can see now we've got our movie ID, our movie name, and undefined. And you're probably asking, why are we getting undefined? Well, the answer is simple. If we come here to our SQL and we run it, it looks like it's just a normal table. But when we do it for JSON, and this is why I had to make sure that I did the output down here, you run it, and now we're going to go to a JSON viewer and have a look at it. Okay, there's our raw JSON. The way it then gets passed here, you can see that because we've got 2 villains per movie, the JSON is actually, because we did JSON auto, it's done in that you get a header row and then a villa row. So for the man with the golden gun, you've got Scaramanga and Knick-Knack. Okay, go back up to Dr. No. You've got the 2 villains, you've got Dr. No, and you've got Professor Dent. Okay, so that's why when we're doing it in SQL, you can see here we've got our 2 movies and our 2 villains, okay, in a table like that. And then when we go to we look at it here, because we're not going into where is it? Here. So I've got all these different tabs open to show you. Because we're going row by row, we're actually got to now go into this and say, R dot villains dot. Now, because this isn't a JavaScript tutorial, it's not my forte anyway, I want to show you how to quickly get what we have in SQL, which is here, into our very simple web page via a very, very quick hack. So we're going to come back here to SSMS, where we've got SSMS running around there. Okay, and what we're going to do here is I'm going to go, instead of returning this, I'm now going to go select that into table output, just to give it a name for JSON auto, and then come here and go select star from table output. So in terms of the SQL Server, what did I do wrong? Sorry, we need to put the JSON, the for JSON here, and fun of doing it on the fly. Okay, so we're putting our raw data into that and then doing a select from the table output. So now when I come back to here and I refresh this, I run that, now we get our data. Okay, so it didn't bother nesting it. It just put it all into one row, which means we could then just quickly read that, put it onto the HTML, and voila, there's our report for our end user. Okay, so anyway, I hope that was useful for you. It's a little bit long-winded, but I think you got the point. So all the source code and the scripts are in the comments below. But yeah, it's a very quick, easy way to get data from SQL Server onto a web page with very, very little coding. Anyway, that's it for today, and I'll see you in the next video.